What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RC's Gateway to Comics. Now, a lot of you may be aware that I really enjoyed the Dwarves vs. Lion comic. It was funny, it had a hilariously bloody, gory battle between two creatures that are absolutely nothing alike, and I was very entertained by it. Now, the creator of that, Brian Budvitis, he also put out another comic series. I believe this one came out before Dwarves vs. Lion did. And we are going to be taking a look at the beginnings of that today. So, we are going to be diving into Airith, the Kentilan War. This is the first book in that series. And we are also going to be taking a look at, since it's a mini-series, The Adventures of Todd Boy and Mox. Now, I went into this having very high hopes. I had seen some of the art for it, and it was by the same guy who did Dwarves vs. Lion, which I gave very high ratings to. That was a very well put together book, and I want to see more of it. Now, going into it with that expectation, I don't know, I probably shouldn't have. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a decent book. But there's some things I would change, and there's some things that I would stay the same. Alright, so this may seem a little bit disjointed as I go into the story, but I'm telling you guys the truth, there's like the fourth time I've had to look through this to try to formulate how the story goes. So, Airith, her companion Rafa, and two other creatures are going to this base to fight against and destroy an entity called Mother, which is one of the, I would say, most powerful creatures in this world, and is responsible for Aerith being the way she is. So this book pretty much just covers like the traveling there and how they sort of getting an introduction to their powers, I guess, because Rafa and Aerith have these suits or technology where they can transform into badasses and fight against the evil forces in this world. And you'll see that on some of the earlier pages. This is Rafa, and obviously you see he has some different outfits here. He jumps out of the car or whatever sort of vehicle it is, and he transforms into this badass looking character here. And he uses that to fight against all of the evil ships. And it is a very quick book, and honestly, I wish it would have been a little bit longer because it would have given me some more insight into the characters. Because from what I can, like, I've already given you most of the story of this book already. It's just them traveling to to that location, fighting these creatures along the way, and giving you an introduction to their powers. I'm not missing anything, am I? No, that's pretty much it. You also get like a little glimpse into something that could be problems down the line for Aerith, but there's not really much else to the story in this book. Aerith and Rafa are constantly arguing back and forth with each other, and I don't know why, because I don't know the characters well enough to say why. And that is one of the reasons why I wish this book was longer. Because you start off in media res, and then you switch to, is it a year earlier or 3 years earlier? You start off in media res and it jumps back 3 years. So you don't know what exactly has gone on there. There's not really any story boxes to explain what happened in between there. So I don't even know if you're on Earth or if you're on a different planet. I'm guessing you're on a different planet, but I can't say for sure. Whenever it comes to these characters, and I'm being entirely honest here, their interactions get very tedious after the first couple pages. Aerith and Rafa are constantly arguing back and forth, and it's almost to a point where I wanted to say it was like an old married couple, but that would be too shameful for old married couples, because they are constantly calling each other names, and they're constantly like putting each other down, and this doesn't seem like there's a point that I can get like friends like knocking each other down a peg, and Lord knows I've had my fair share of that whenever I'd be working. But this is to a whole nother level. Like there's even points in this book where you'll have them bickering during a fight scene, and you'll think to yourself, wasn't there a fight scene going on? And then you'll turn the page and the fight scene continues. Like there's literally a point where they're surrounded by robots which speak binary code for some reason, and they stop for a page while they exchange insults with each other. For me personally, that pulls me out of the fight entirely. And if there was a way that they could maybe not do that, then it would definitely be better for the plot. One thing that I can say though is that the art is definitely good. I want to leave this one on a high note. The art is definitely good. It did keep me intrigued throughout. I like the character designs. Aerith seems like both Aerith and Rafa both have very cool designs to them. I've already shown you Rafa's design, but Aerith pretty much looks like this, and I think it's a colorful, bright, unique design, which you're definitely not going to see anywhere else. Plus, I have a weakness for animal print stuff, apparently. So, the art is definitely a shining point for this story. I really like the art, and it's mostly what got me through this book. Overall, it is enjoyable. I will give it that, and for that reason, there is a lot of potential for this story, and because of that, my final rating for the first book in Aerith, the Kentilan War, will have to be a PB&J level. The story could use some work, but the art does definitely save it. There is a lot of potential here for a good story. So, with that being said, now we are going to move on to the adventures of Todd Boy and Mox. Now, this is something that it is very similar to Airith, where there's a lot more style over substance. So the art is definitely, at least in my view, much more entertaining than the story. So with The Adventures of Todd Boy and Mox, since it's a miniseries, this is going to be a little bit quicker of a review. So Mox and Todd Boy are two, I want to say they're military officers who are incarcerated by their corrupt government and their evil government. Well, corruption and evil both go together, I guess, so a little bit repetitive. But anyways, they have to either kill their lovers or their lovers have to... No, they have to either kill their lovers or they have to have them be sent away to sort of like a re-education camp or whatever area, I guess. And because of that, they have a vendetta against their militaristic government. And this is the sort of jumping off point for this is sort of the jumping off point for this story, because it's them beginning their quest to get revenge against this government. And it's sort of an introduction to them and who they're working with, and just being able to get on their side and see what they are fighting for. Again, very similar to Airith. The story, I like the background of the story, because, at least for me personally, I really don't like corruption. And seeing what these characters have to do, it does make you get on their side very easily. And their fight for revenge is definitely justified. However, with the exception of the art, which is very good, very much like Airith, the way that the story is put together does need some work. The motivation is definitely there, but there is a lot of places where the dialogue drones on, and I found it to be an extreme chore to try and get through the dialogue in this book. And there was even times where, I'll give you an exact example. There is a guy who, Todd Boy, gets his arm chopped off. And yet he is going on for paragraphs and paragraphs of words that just keep droning on and on and on. And you're thinking as the reader, dude, your arm got chopped off. You should probably be going into shock. Probably not be talking, or at least not coherently. You should be screaming your ass off. But no, he just acts like it's every other day. He has a sarcastic attitude about it, and is just like... I think Mox even says, you're supposed to be like this military veteran guy, and why didn't you fight back? And he's like, while his arm is chopped off, he's like, oh, I would have put him in a rear naked choke, but guess what? My fucking arm's chopped off. It's just like, dude, you are bleeding out. Your arm was severed from your body. You probably should not be having the sarcastic attitude that you have, and you should be a little bit panicked. So that sort of took me out of this a little bit. And you can see why. So this book, I would have to give it the same rating as Airith. It would have to be a PB&J rating. Perfectly okay. Definitely needs a lot of work. If there is an explanation given for why these characters were able to take such extreme amounts of damage and yet still be cracking jokes, then I would definitely appreciate that. But since it's not put into the story, it may be something you want to change for the next issue, because it does take you out of it for a little bit of time. If you do want to go and back any of Brian Budvitas's books, including these ones, go to his website. I believe it's Airith.com. And that's if he hasn't changed the URL since Dwarves vs. Lion. But definitely go and check out his website, check out his books. He does put out great work, especially with the Dwarves vs. Lion series, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that continue. These ones, they're enjoyable, but they could definitely use some work. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. If you have any thoughts on the Airith series, or if you have any thoughts on the differences between that and Dwarves vs. Lion, please let me know that down in the comment section down below. I'm curious to hear what your opinions on these stories are. And if you would, please also subscribe to the channel, and as we grow in subscribers and viewers, then the more people will be able to see these pretty good comic books, and also some great comic books. So, thank you guys all for watching, and I will see all of you in the next video. Peace out.